I think we're live. Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Happy Friday. We just want to thank you all so much for joining. This is the very first of our series of family, faith, and finance. So, yeah, today is we actually decided to. Even that was a bit of a debate actually on what topic to talk about in the very first of our series, because marriage is actually a bit of a heated topic, and it is something that we've been through lots of trials and struggles. So we decided to keep this topic light, not talking anything in too much depth because we really don't want to argue in the middle of this live session, and definitely not after it. So many of you maybe already know, that we have started a digital business, something that we're very passionate about, and it's a business that allows us to help others and also to help ourselves. So we will be sharing a little bit more about that business, and honestly, it's not, we're just sharing, opening it up. So we're not forcing you to buy anything or anything, but we're just, if you are interested, please let us know, and we'll be happy to share more about it. But this topic is not just about business, it is about family, faith, and finance. So these three areas are areas that basically pretty much defines what we do and things that are important to us. Well, not so much the finance. I mean, what's most important to us is family, is our faith, and finance. Is just something that we need to survive, really, to live on. But I think most importantly for us, being Christians, is that we know our God is our provider. He is our provider. However, He does give us the means, the tools to actually do the things that we can, and then He will do the rest. But moving on, marriage. All right, let me just let me just pull off some things that we actually have put down about marriage. Yes, so oh gosh, marriage. And anyway, before we do that, I think we just want to acknowledge that we know that there's lots of different people here. Some people are happily married. Some people may be, not so happily married. They may be going through separation or even divorce, or going through a very difficult time in your relationship, and some may be single, maybe looking for marriage. We know there's so many people here, so we just want to acknowledge you. We're not here to, we're not marriage counselors,
No.
so far from it. We have our own issues, but we thought that we can share things that helped us a lot along the way. We have had 9 years of marriage. Yesterday was our anniversary. So
I thought it was 8.
it just so happened it was our anniversary, and we're doing a topic on marriage. So I don't know. It honestly was completely not planned. So anyway, we had a good time. We had a good. It was actually we managed to set some time for ourselves. We went out for dinner, a nice dinner, and we left our daughter with our my sister. And so thank God they were available, my sister and my mum. So I guess one of the things with having kids is, I think it's just so good to have just family members or friends to look after them and giving us some time to ourselves. So one of the lessons in marriage is have time for yourselves. Dedicate some time for yourselves. If you have kids, sometimes it's really not easy. I don't think we had that dinner time together for so long already, and
It's been
and
a
it was
long
just
time.
it was actually a bit awkward. We're like, oh no, we don't have our little daughter jumping on us. So yeah. But anyway, moving on. Darling, I might put it to you if you're ready.
Okay.
What is your number one lesson in marriage? What do you think you have learned and grown.
Okay, so the number one lesson, I think yesterday, yesterday we were talking about this, and one of the things that came to mind was the number one lesson is to listen. I think we learned that from, I think Pastor Nathan, is he say that or someone else? Yeah, someone
listen.
else. To listen, I think.
I'm not sure, but I know one thing is God created us with 2 ears and one mouth. It means we need to double the amount of listening. And so one thing we say, we need to listen twice as long.
Yeah.
That's in my opinion.
So to listen means that we have to really put aside the things that we think. For example, when our spouse or our partner is saying something about some issues or something that they want to share, I think the first thing you want to do or is tempting to do is just to give advice, to say what we think the other person should do. But I think sometimes that's not very helpful, especially because you need to be acknowledged of what you are saying, and that's what somebody else said. But I can't remember who's telling me all of this, who's saying all of this. But to acknowledge, to make sure the other person feel that you are listening. We are not great. I mean, we haven't really managed it very well. I don't know if the word is manage it, but I mean, we've been better in doing that, but it's a learning curve of listening. Is a learning curve because yeah, I mean, if you don't listen to your partner, there you're not understanding where they come from. So I think instead of giving advice, and that's something that Tony and I needs to improve, because I feel very tempting. Usually when he tells me something about an issue, he comes from work and he tells me something, I immediately jump and say, no, you have to do this, you have to do that. But I think it's very tempting, but I think it's just learning to stop for a little bit and really listen to what the other person is saying.
Yes, I definitely agree. I think, to be honest, I think she listens more than me.
No, I think you listen more than me.
Well, I've been a bit more proactive in trying to listen, and I think one way that she's absolutely right. I think we tend to speak more than we listen, and I'm like, I'm listening, I'm listening to you. Look, I'm giving you advice because I've listened to you. That's what's going on in my mind. But so listening, I think one thing that Pastor Nathan, if he's listening, I just want to say thank you for your counseling. So he did come to our house one day and listen to the way we speak to each other, which was a little bit embarrassing, but that's what he suggested. He told me to repeat what she said, and I was like, it actually was very difficult. But we did it, and that's something that's kept with me for so long, is to really just repeat what the person's saying and then reflect, and then you can talk about it. And that has helped me a lot, and I always keep that in mind. So every time she says something, I would repeat it. So I would say, you're saying I need to listen more. And I would say, okay, all right, I need to listen more. All right. And then I might give some advice. Well, actually, try not to give any advice, but if you need to, you do it with a loving heart. But yeah, number one, listen more than you speak.
Give less advice.
And affirm, acknowledge the other person. Very good one. So my key takeaway actually is actually more of the mindset. So my key takeaway is to be deliberate, deliberate in your thinking towards your partner. I'm just going to write that one down. So be deliberate in your thinking towards your partner. More in your positive thinking towards your partner. And the reason why I say that is because I think I reflected, the things that I'm meditating on or thinking about, especially when there are heated times when we have arguments, or when something that she doesn't do or does do, the immediate things that come to my head are things like, oh no, again, always, you never change, all these things that I'm sorry, I think I just confessed something that I shouldn't have. But it's true, right? Sometimes there's always things that you're thinking that are not so nice, about each other, or sometimes even about yourself, so, and then you start feeling guilty about yourself. But I think if you start to realize what you're thinking and just put a stop to that, and then be deliberate in thinking things that are a lot more, positive, a lot more things that, things that maybe, things that hasn't happened now, but things that, I love the way, I love the way she understands, or, I love the way that, she's humble and she's always willing to change. So I love the way, that she cares, she cares for me, she cares for my daughter. So I think, especially lately, I've really made that a conscious thing, to really have a think about what I love about Christina, and what I love about her before we got married, and then, I guess the more I think be deliberate in thinking that, and honestly, I think my love for her actually grows even stronger. Gets stronger and stronger. And I think that the contrary to that is, I guess, imagine there was someone you're thinking about, someone you don't like so much. Imagine you constantly meditate on that person, all these negative things, all these things about them, and blah blah blah, and then eventually you end up really hating them, despising them, right? So on the other way, you meditate on things that are all positive about somebody, you end up liking them, and in fact you end up even maybe loving them, so that's my main takeaway, is to really be deliberate in your positive thinking towards each other, and also to ourselves, also to myself as well. Don't be so hard on myself as well. That I am a child of God. I am loving. I have the same spirit that rose Jesus from the dead. And we and that really helps, because when I guess when I'm filled, when I'm positive, when I'm when I love myself more, and that's what I can also give to Christina as well.
That's good.
So anyway, also just to let you know, we are Christians, as probably most of you know already. So a lot of this topic on marriage, we do base it on our belief, and along the Bible's principles as well. So what else have you learned, darling? Let me
have a look. Counseling. Well, I think you mentioned that yesterday, that it's important to seek counseling, because I think, how I think the Bible said, bring everything. That's something I'm learning now. Bring everything to the light. Whatever is in darkness, bring it to the light. And I think the more you talk about things that your struggles, what's happening to you, the more help you can get, and the more guidance you can get. So it's important I personally didn't like that, to talk to people about marriage, because I think it's very private, about what's happening. It's very private between ourselves. But I think sometimes you're not able to resolve things by yourself, so you have to really get that help. And I think the help could be from maybe from a couple that have years of experience in marriage, or maybe pastors can be your pastors, or someone that is mature in this topic. And also counseling is very important. I think it's important. We are not taking any like marriage counseling, but we have been in some sessions with counselors. And yeah, I think it's very important
Many sessions actually. We have
many sessions, really.
well, not for our marriage, but we've been involved in counseling, psychology, and all sorts of things.
Yeah. So it's important.
Yes. So I think that's something we realize is, even if you're not really that struggling, so I think just having someone to talk to, some professional, because sometimes just telling our friends that they might not be able to give the best advice. And yeah, I think the having just getting that opinions from someone who knows a bit more, that it really helps. We actually went there. We did speak about our marriage at one point, and honestly, that one session helped me a lot. It really helped me to understand, and that's and yeah, I just think it's just that's something we want to do this year more of, is actually really to invest in our marriage, and learn to do more things, do more courses, and talk to people, talk to a counselor, even when it's I wouldn't wait, to be honest. We're not going to wait till our marriage goes really sour and then go for counseling. I think it's just like a good checkup. It's like going to the doctor. We can do a checkup, a health checkup. So sometimes going to a counselor and doing a health checkup is actually very useful, very helpful, before it gets worse. So yeah, very good point, darling. So what else? I think I guess another lesson I learned is to really grow in, really have that sense of self-development, because I'm just going to write that down. So personal growth. Yeah, the reason why I'm saying that is, it's personal growth for myself, so not for her. I'm not thinking, all right, you need to grow, you need to do this. So I think personal growth for self is really focusing on, my own growth in spirituality, in my mental health, in my physical health. Because I find that the more I focus on myself, not in a self-centered way, but it's actually, to do things for myself, my mentality, it actually helps Christina as well, because if I'm down, what I'm going to give her is my down. If I'm stressed, what I'm going to give her is my stress and my frustrations. And so I just think it's very important to look after yourself, your mental health, your spiritual health. A lot of things that we do at church, which is great, is we go out in prayer. Whenever we're struggling, we can go out to the front and ask someone to pray for us. It seems little, but it makes a huge difference in our marriage, because I'm actually helping myself. So being willing to learn. I know a lot of people actually feel a bit maybe ashamed to go and talk to someone, but I think if we could let that go and try to learn from other people who have wisdom, it just really helps. Yes, so my own personal growth, grow in love, seek God, and because Our Bible says God is love. So the more I develop my relationship with God, the more I know God's heart, then that's what I get, and that's what I can give. I think that one of the probably the best situation that example is, I mean, probably many years back. It was when I felt basically depleted. I was like, I don't know. I was like, oh gosh, I can't do it anymore. I really just can't do it anymore. I honestly, I actually thought I don't. I felt I didn't even love Christine anymore, and that's the truth. Like, I mean, she's lovable, but there was that one moment when I was depleted, and that was because of an argument, and that's when I cried out to God. I said, I can't do it anymore, and then God just, I just felt God just telling me that, that He loves me, and I was like, okay, God, you say you love me. How much do you love me? I was just having this conversation, this argument with God. And then from when I asked him that, it was like I don't know, I felt like he was telling me all these things that he's done for me, all these things, even how he put Christina in my life. And I think I just melted. I think I cried as well. And then love came back. And I think that lesson that God taught me then was to be really deliberate in looking for love, because for me it was like I never actually looked for the love of God for me. I always felt I needed to give love, I need to give. And then the more, it's like I found that the more I gave but not receiving, I became depleted. And so I realized it's just so important to learn to love, receive, to really look for God's love for myself, and then learn to love myself. And then also that, it just overflows. It's like this whole overflow. So love to me is the answer. And I think the whole idea of marriage is actually to learn to love, because marriage is not easy. It's when two people gather together with differences and put into one. So I remember a pastor once said that that he spoke about marriage, and he said there is no such thing as a problem marriage. He said, but there is such thing as two people with problems getting into marriage. And I think that just totally makes sense, because we all have our problems, we all have our issues, and then when we get together hoping that this marriage is going to resolve everything, it's not going to happen. So we need to deal with our own issues, and then but however, marriage actually discloses all the problems that we've had, all the problems that we've had, which discloses, it comes out. And then you learn, if we're willing, we learn to love, we learn to overcome. We learn patience, because love is patience. Love is kind, I don't know the rest, but I should read. Love is
kind, love is patient,
impartial.
Love never fails.
Love never fails, yes.
Love doesn't think of the other, doesn't think bad of the others. I think it is. Yeah, so love is the answer.
Yeah. So, yes. Anything else, darling, you want to share?
Yeah, when the Bible says iron sharpen iron, what you do? Okay. When the Bible says iron sharpen iron, I think that's very truth, because I think in marriage everything comes out. All your hairs, your character, the things that you are, comes out. So so you have to really understand that a marriage is a place to grow, and that is a place where you can, like Tony said, to grow in love. I think you said, or somebody said, like, when you get married, you realize how selfish you are.
That's so true.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I didn't
think,
say that, but I
You
heard
did
I heard someone say that. Yeah.
yeah. So what I was gonna say? No. Yeah, like you have to. I forgot what I was gonna say.
That's all right. That's all right. Um, yes. So yeah, there's so much. Honestly, there's so much we can share here. But let's move on to faith. I think we moved. We spoke a bit about some things that we've learned, and a little bit on faith as well. Because our topic, our theme, what we're trying to do in this series is to talk about all three things: family, faith, and finance. So faith is a huge thing. It's kind of the thing that really, what do you call it?
Puts everything together.
Yeah, just holds our marriage together. I think without faith, we probably split up already, because we cling on to God, we cling on to His help, asking Him for guidance all the time, and it's probably I think without faith, because faith is hope as well. So without that, it makes marriage very, very difficult. So what we do is we pray a lot together, especially when especially in difficult times, we always sit down and we pray with each other.
Yeah. Not always. We try.
No.
We try to pray, but sometimes we don't do it. I guess because we are.
Eventually, we do it though.
Yeah, eventually.
Maybe not on the spot.
Yeah, I think not on the spot, but sometimes you wait a long time, and then I don't know. Sometimes you don't want to tell your husband things that you're going through because I don't know, you're ashamed, or maybe because you think your husband is going to tell you what to do and you don't want to listen to that. So sometimes we don't go quickly for prayer, but I think like Tony said, eventually after everything is falling apart, then we go to God.
Yeah. Well, I make that deliberate. I might not go to God with her, but I definitely would go to God for help. I think one of the main things that I do, that I'm very aware of is, for specifically, mainly for heated topics, is to never talk about it when you're frustrated.
When you're angry.
When we're angry and frustrated. So never talk about sensitive things when you're angry and frustrated. I'm just going to put that down there. What should I say? I think it's more about make sure there is love in your heart. That's my main tip here. Make sure there's love in your heart. I think that's probably more positive. So what I'm saying there is I when there's really heated topics, things that I know is going to have an argument. I don't talk about it when I know there's no love in my heart. I'm only all I got is frustrations, because that's what's going to come out. All my frustrations, and I know it's not going to end well, right? So what I do is I stop. I go back to my room. I go back and I pray. I tell God all my frustrations, and most of the times, actually not all the time, is when is like God counsels me. I feel like I just feel a lot more love, I guess, rather than frustration. And I might even put that topic on hold for a while until I'm settled, and then I would when it's ready, when she's ready, I'm ready. Especially when she's ready, because she may not be ready to talk. So I have to also be aware of that, and then that's when I would start to talk about some things that and it always goes better. When there's love in your heart, the sound of your words and everything, she ends up receiving things that I'm talking about rather than receiving all my frustrations. Yeah. Do you agree, baby?
Yeah, I think it's true. It's true.
I think that's a very key. If you don't want arguments with your spouse, I just suggest, go to God if you can. If not, talk to someone first, and just so you don't come to your partner with frustrations.
And also, I think when you are, when you're having an argument or something's happening, sometimes you need to say, I cannot talk at the moment. And you just, at the moment I cannot talk. Mm-hmm. I don't want to talk about it. But the other person should kind of respect that instead of like keep going. Because I notice sometimes, no, we're not going to talk about it anymore because, we're not going to enter in an argument. But then the other person start continue. And then
she's talking about me.
No. I do it too. We keep going. And don't really, like it's good to say, no, at the moment I can't talk about this. Let's leave it like that. And then definitely. You just go away for a little bit.
Yeah. I know there's times when I was like, but. And then, but she's right, I need to stop. I go, all right, stop. And then I go away, and then later on we can talk about it. But very good point. You don't want to keep pushing her until she completely breaks, or vice versa.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I don't even know if you're tuning in. If you are tuning in, please comment below. Okay. So let me see. And if any of this resonates with you, please feel free to make a comment. If you completely disagree with us, also make a comment below. Let us know. If you've got any other advice as well, put it down in the comment below. That way we can, we can learn for ourselves, get wisdom for ourselves in marriage. Anyway, let's move on to the next topic, shall we?
Mm-hmm.
All right, next topic is on finance. All right, so that's another big one. Apparently, marriage breakups have a number of topics that are usually the reason why marriages break up. All right, so I don't actually know all of them, but there's usually only a few things. But one of them is finances. A huge reason why marriages break up is because of finances, lack of finances, or arguments about finances. So it's something that I feel is very important to talk about. I learned this very quickly with finances. Is going back to my own parents. My parents actually broke up, got divorced, but I do believe the biggest reason why they got divorced was because of arguments over finances. Because ever since where I've been growing up is that ever since as a child I've always heard them argue about money. All right, so, and to the point where, they eventually ended up breaking up. So, and that was a huge, I think I've never been the same. Since my parents broke up, I've never been the same as a child. And I know that marriage breakups, from my experience, really affects the children. And that included myself. And I think even as a child, I probably needed counseling, which I never got, So I think, if you are going through issues, do think about your child. They may just need a bit of counseling to understand what's happening. But a decision that I made at a very early age is actually to never do anything that's about making money. All right. So I never wanted to get a job with this focus of making money. I never wanted to do a business with this focus on making money. In fact, I avoided business. Funny enough, I did business studies in high school and I fell asleep every single session. I'm pretty sure every single session I fell asleep. And the whole reason why I'm a teacher is because I said, you know what, I'm not going to do anything about business. I hate anything about making money, because I don't want this to happen to my future marriage. And so at a very, very, very early age, I kind of understood that, but probably in a different, wrong perspective. So I chose teaching, not because I love teaching. In fact, I didn't want to be a teacher. I wanted to do counsel. I wanted to be like a psychologist or a doctor or something along the way of humanities. But I wasn't smart enough. I'm not a typical Asian kid who.
You're smart.
I wasn't smart. I didn't get the academic
you're smart.
grades, right? Everyone in those, they get all the grades. I knew I wouldn't get the grades, and I didn't get the grades. So the only thing that qualified me to do something in the humanitarian field was actually teaching. So I'll be honest with you, But anyway, I enjoy teaching now. And then from there, they taught about special needs teaching. They showed me. They introduced it, and that's why I'm a special ed teacher, and I felt more compassion towards that and towards kids with disabilities. But the funny thing is with business is that with the business field is now I have 3 businesses. All right. So these 3 businesses, but it's really fun because something I never wanted to do, I ended up doing. But sharing with you that these businesses that I've got is not the focus is not about making money. In fact, that's very, of course we'd like to make money because we need money. Now, I've got a different mindset that, I would like to have more money to actually be able to bless other people, right? So, but I didn't want to do, so I mean, what was I going to say? So the businesses that we have, my focus is really is a humanitarian field, so I've got a therapy practice to help others. I've got an app that helps to give children with disabilities a voice, and now we've got this digital business, which is also to help others to get out of this I guess this whole working hard for the rest of your life. That's something that I definitely don't want. I don't want to be always working and having no time to spend with Christina or our daughter or family or friends. So we made that decision, we want to do this digital business to help set us up so that we have more time for each other, and it's also to help others. We also know that not everyone is interested in something like this, and that's completely okay. We're not some people who want to push you to start something that you don't want to start, to sell anything. But if you are someone who is possibly interested in starting a digital business, starting something, learning how to gain an additional income, please contact us. Please DM us and let us know, and we'll send you a link to a free webinar that we watched, and good to check it out.
What's the other point?
But finances and
importance of financial
stewardship. So I'll just finish this point. I guess sharing my experience is really to prioritize relationships over money. I made a decision to never argue about money. There are times when we did have a bit of arguments, but then it always in the back of my head, no, stop. We're not going to go down that route, because our relationships is much more important than money itself. So what I learned is, it's not money that's the matter. The Bible says it's the love of money that is the root of all sin. So we don't want to, I realize, I can justify that I don't love money, but I'm still arguing about money. but the truth is, if you put money as that high priority, of that high value, more than the marriage itself, more than even relationships with other people, that can go sour, So we want to put, for me, prioritizing, what's more important than money is actually our relationship. And I can honestly say that, I just said that to Christina the other day, is that, if we did end up in a place where we're just completely broke, that, hypothetically, that, Christina did spend all our money, I would still say, you know what, it's okay. Money can always be earned again, but this relationship, our marriage, it cannot. If we give that up, it cannot. So I'd rather go through struggles than to I guess have breakups. Have a breakup in our marriage or relationship. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Very, very important.
Yeah, so don't prioritize relationships over money. That's my suggestion. I'm going to write that down. If you have anything to share, darling, please go ahead.
No, I think you said everything. Maybe let's go to the next.
Prioritize relationships
over money.
Okay. What else?
I think this one.
There is so much, isn't there? Personal growth. What is it?
Personal growth in managing finances wisely.
Yes.
For that personal growth, I think it's good to take like courses, spend time with people that know how to manage their money, and I think be open to really understand how finances work. I know for myself, I'm not I'm not that great in finances.
None of us are that great. Both of us are great.
So I think be open to learn a little bit more about finances. How does it work? How can we better steward our money? And yeah, just be able to use our money properly.
Definitely, yeah. I think, you mentioned being a good steward of finances. The Bible verse that really, relates well to, that actually, spoke to me as well, is the parable of the talents. No, is it parable of the talents?
Yeah.
Is it? It's about, it was about how Jesus spoke about the boss, is it, or the manager, giving 5 talents to one person, and then giving 2 talents to one person, and then giving 1 talent to another person. And the 5 person decided, to double it. He did something with it, and he doubled it. And then the person with 2 talents, he doubled it as well. And then the person with one talent, he buried it, and then said that, look, I don't want you, to lose that. I don't remember what he said, but he buried it in the sand. And then when the boss came back, he had nothing to give but that 1 talent back. But the others grew it, and then the boss actually gave them more. So that is a message, for me, that I was, whatever God's given me, I want to do something with it. I want to invest or do something with the finances. I think my mindset that shifted, why I'm doing business now, and why I'm actually, okay with making money than in the past, is because of that. I used to have this wrong mindset that, God is my provider. Don't worry, everything will be okay. And which is true as well. God is my provider, and that's something that's kept with me. But it came to a point where I wasn't a very good steward of the money that I have, that He's given me, to the point where I've lost so much money. I inherited some money, not inherited, but I got some insurance money from when my dad passed away, and I actually honestly blew it. I gave a lot of money away, which is true, which was great, but I also spent a lot of money, and I actually blew it. And then I came to a point when I was living on credit cards, and then I was going to church, and then I would always feel guilty when I go to church, because people were talking about tithing and offering, and then I was always, felt obliged to give, and then, but I realized, I was giving my money that I don't have. I was giving credit card, my money from a credit card. And that was not right. That's just not right. So anyway, I learned very quickly that if you don't have the money, don't give. And then it's not, I mean, unless it's all critical moments. But I wasn't a very good steward of money, but now I was like, you know what, I need to know how much I have. I need to invest to grow, use that money to grow, do something with it, rather than just just trusting God to provide and not do anything. So I think it's biblical that we actually should be doing something with our finances, not just giving, actually investing as well. And that's what in my view anyway. So so I guess a good thing with this digital business is something, if we did to choose to, invest in this business and do something with it, and then let God do the rest. And it's been,
It's been good. Yeah, it's been good so far.
yeah. I think that's about it. Is there anything else you want to mention?
Let's see. No, I think we talk about everything.
So we might just move
maybe
talk
just
about the
go-
digital business.
Yes, maybe talk about the digital.
Yeah, okay. So thank you everyone anyway for tuning in. And like I said, we are going to do this weekly sessions on family, faith, and finance. And we go every Friday at 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So please join us for our next topic if you enjoyed this one. But a little bit about our digital business is a business that we decided to do together as a joint venture. I mean, mainly I was working on my own business, kind of on my own, and Christina was helping here and there. But now we decided, you know what, we have a joint venture and started this digital business together, which we're both passionate about. It's about a business that is able to help other people to also start their own digital business. And it's got real products. I think they're great products, that we use for ourselves. And I think the great thing about this business is, I think the automation. You just gotta do your part. It has step-by-step guidance and everything that we need to do, and then things get automated. But honestly, what we love about this most is, you probably know, is the supportive global
Mentorship,
community.
There's a lot of mentorship. There's a big community. It's a global community around the world, and then you have masterminds, you have daily training. So the whole program and platform is really, really, really good. You can reach out to people if you get stuck in something. And I think people in this business really care about you, care about seeing you succeed. So it's really good. It's really good to have people to really to have people that support you, because sometimes you are doing things or business and you feel by yourself. You feel that there's no one really there for you. For example, we have our sister-in-law. She has a wedding business, and she was saying like it's very difficult because she was by herself doing that. So she changed job. She changed to a corporate job where she has people that she can share and just that support. So it's good. It's good to be able to share with people where are your struggles in the business. So I think it's good to have a community that you can do that.
Yeah, definitely. And that's something that I didn't have in my other businesses, and which honestly I wish I did. And I'm so glad we joined this business, because I realized the importance of having mentorship and people supporting. Because my other business, I honestly was on my own. I was trying to work out everything on myself, and it wasn't nice. I mean, it's very difficult, very challenging. So you deal with struggles on your own. So with this business, we deal with struggles with each other. We have a supportive team, and we grow our team. So It's very true. Yeah, especially the mentorship part is a huge thing. Why we love this business. But anything else?
Let's see what else we have to.
So I think that's about it with our business. So if you feel free, if you are interested, something that you want to find out more, again, please DM us, and we'll put you to a free webinar that you can watch and see if you like it. And then if you have any questions, let us know, and we'll be in touch.
Yeah.
We might close this session. So thank you so much for coming.
Thank you very much for watching. I think there's 2 people watching.
There's 2 people. I'm sure there's more.
So I think
it will be more a bit later, I'm sure. But
I don't think you can. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, but there's 2 people. Yeah. Good. Thank you for tuning.
Yeah, we know it's an awkward time because this is Friday, in the early in the day. Most people are at work, so we couldn't do it in the evening because our daughter, it's not possible to run a one of these meetings with our daughter here. But so this is the only time we can do it. So we're just so glad. I know a lot of you will be watching this on a replay. So thank you. Thank you for all your support. We really hope our messages here was received well. We're not here to point fingers at anybody. We're all here to learn. We're all here to learn from one another. We all make mistakes, but the great thing is we can learn by it. And if you are holding on to something, a mistake or something that you've done, please forgive yourself. We all do it. I think one of the biggest things I learned from table tennis in sport is actually learning how to lose. Because we lose, you feel bad, but you know what? It's a lesson that's learnt, and we're going to move forward. We're going to keep going, and we're going to do better next time. Yeah. So thank you for tuning in.
Thank you very much.
This is a webinar, what do you call it? A Facebook Live session on real talk, real growth, on family, faith, and finance. Tune in till next week, Friday, 10 a.m. Australian Eastern Time. God bless you all.
God bless you.
And have a great week and
weekend.
Bye for now.
Bye.